So let's talk about crypto. In a world with literally millions of different coins, how do you actually tell the difference between a real, groundbreaking project and just another get-rich-quick scheme? Well, today we're going to give you the detective's toolkit to figure that out.
This right here, this is probably the single most important idea to keep in your head. Look, hype on social media, a little bit of buzz. It can make a token's price just explode. But that kind of thing, it's usually temporary. What really lasts, what gives a project actual long-term value, are its fundamentals. And that's exactly what we're going to learn how to spot.
And that's the big question, isn't it? I want you to think of yourself as a detective. Your job isn't to just blindly follow the crowd. No. Your job is to follow the evidence, to ask the tough questions, and to build a solid case for whether a project is a legitimate investment or just a well-disguised trap. And this right here is your guide.
Okay, so let's set the scene for our investigation. It is vast, and honestly, it's pretty chaotic out there. Ever since Bitcoin showed up back in 2009, over 13 million other cryptocurrencies have been created. It is a total digital gold rush. And just like any gold rush, yeah, there are fortunes to be made, but there are also tons of pitfalls for anyone who's not prepared. Your investigation starts with understanding the bedrock, the core technology.
This is your first tool, and it's the most important one. A blockchain is basically a shared, super secure digital notebook. Every single transaction is a new entry, and it's cryptographically linked to the one before it, creating this chain of information that's almost impossible to change. It's the foundation that makes all of this crypto stuff possible in the first place.
So here's the crucial thing to remember. While a tech is really powerful, it is not invincible. See, unlike the money in your bank account, crypto is decentralized. There's no single company or government in charge. But that freedom, it comes with some serious risk. The market is incredibly volatile, and believe me, there are vulnerabilities that can be exploited. This is exactly why your detective work is so important.
All right, detective, it's time to open up the case file. Every legitimate crypto project out there leaves behind clues about whether it's the real deal. Your job is to analyze 3 key pieces of evidence: the white paper, the development team, and of course, the community.
Think of the white paper as the project's entire game plan. It's the mission statement and the super technical manual all rolled into one. It should tell you, in detail, what problem this project is trying to solve, how the technology actually works, and what the goals are for the future. This is ground zero for any serious investigation.
And this is a fantastic way to filter out the noise. A real white paper is going to be technical, it's going to be detailed, and you know what? It might even be a little boring. That's because it's written for developers and investors who know their stuff. If you start reading something that's just full of flashy promises and marketing buzzwords but has zero substance, that's not a white paper. It's a huge red flag.
And this illustrates the difference perfectly. On one side, you've got a project like Chainlink. Its white paper is dense, it goes deep into the technical weeds of connecting blockchains to real-world data, and it lays out a clear solution. Then, you have something like Pepe Coin, which flat out says on its own website that it's just for entertainment and has no real use. One is a technical blueprint, the other is literally a meme.
Okay, so a project's blueprint is one thing, but who's actually building it? This is just like investing in a startup company. You're really betting on the people behind the scenes. So who are they? What have they done before? Are they open about their past experience, or are they hiding in the shadows?
And here's another great side-by-side. A project like Polygon. They proudly show you who their team members are, what they've worked on, their experience in the field. That transparency builds a ton of credibility. Now, compare that to the infamous Squid Game token. The founders were totally anonymous, gave zero credible background info, and, well, what a surprise, it turned out to be a massive fraud where they just ran off with everyone's money.
All right, finally, you need to check the project's pulse by looking at its community. A healthy project will have a genuinely active and engaged group of people. You'll see them on platforms like Discord and Reddit. They'll be discussing technical stuff, asking hard questions, even suggesting improvements. But if all you see is just constant hype, to-the-moon posts, and crazy price speculation with no real substance, you might just be looking at an artificial mob, not a real community.
So we've examined the project's identity. Now it's time to do what every good detective does. Follow the money. Tokenomics, I know it's a fancy word, but it's just the economics of a cryptocurrency. And understanding it is absolutely critical if you want to know if a project is built for long-term value or just a quick cash out for the founders.
We could actually break this down into 3 pretty simple questions. First, supply. Is there a limited number of tokens? Scarcity is a huge driver of value. Second, distribution. How are the coins given out at the start? If a tiny group of insiders is holding most of the tokens, they can easily crash the price whenever they want. And third, utility. Does the token actually do anything? Can you use it for something like voting or paying fees? A token with a real purpose has a real reason to be in demand.
This number right here is the perfect example of supply. That is the maximum number of Bitcoin that will ever exist. It's a fixed limit, hard-coded right into its DNA, and it's one of the fundamental reasons for its value. Scarcity is a really powerful economic force.
Now, here is a massive red flag related to distribution. It's a term you need to know: exit liquidity. Some scammy projects are designed so that you, the regular investor, become the exit liquidity. The founders just wait for enough public money to come pouring in, then they dump all of their tokens at once, cash out for millions, and disappear, leaving everybody else holding completely worthless digital junk.
Okay, you've gathered your evidence. You've followed the money trail. The final phase of your investigation is learning how to spot the classic tricks that criminals use in the crypto world. This is all about active self-defense.
These are some of the most common traps you'll see. A rug pull like what we saw with Froggy Coin is exactly what it sounds like. The developers just pull all the money out and vanish. A newer and honestly scarier threat is the use of AI deepfakes. Scammers will create these incredibly realistic videos of famous people like Elon Musk endorsing a fake crypto project. And the pump and dump is a classic scheme where insiders just hype a token like crazy to inflate the price before selling all of their shares to people who don't know any better.
Here is a simple, powerful rule for your investigation. Any real, legitimate project should welcome people looking under the hood. They should get security audits from outside experts and be totally transparent. If a team says that audits are a waste of time or they actively try to hide things, that isn't confidence. That is a giant, flashing red flag telling you to get out of there.
Spotting scams is one thing. Actually protecting your own digital assets is another ballgame. So let's quickly cover the absolute essentials for your security toolkit.
Look, I know this might seem basic, but it is your first and best line of defense. Use a different, complex password for every single account. Always enable two-factor authentication. And be super skeptical of random emails or messages. These simple habits can stop the vast majority of attacks before they even start.
And when it comes to actually storing your crypto, you have a really important choice. A hardware wallet, it kind of looks like a USB drive. It keeps your assets completely offline. That makes it the most secure option for long-term savings. A software wallet is just an app on your phone or computer. It's way more convenient for trading, but it's also more exposed to online threats. A really smart strategy is to keep the majority of your funds in a hardware wallet and just a small amount in a software wallet for day-to-day stuff.
And there we have it. From understanding the core tech to examining the evidence, following the money, and protecting your assets, you now have a solid framework to conduct a real crypto investigation. You've officially moved from being a speculator to being an investigator. Remember, the goal here isn't to find the next coin that's going to go up 1,000% overnight. It's to make smart, informed decisions based on solid fundamentals. The crypto world is always going to be changing, but these principles, this detective work, that stays the same. The only question left is, where are you going to begin?